Hello, everyone. I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the 15th week of our Tech Tips Live series, the weekly series where we get together and talk about technology and ways to incorporate it into your daily workflow here at K-State. Few housekeeping items, just like always. I've muted everyone's microphones, so we're going to go ahead and try to save questions until the end. If you do have questions throughout, if you'd like to go ahead and send those in over the chat, that's fine. Or feel free at the end to unmute your microphone and ask your question live. So with that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share and pass it over to today's presenter, Kat Adams from the Network Operations Center. Kat, go ahead and take it away.
All right, thank you. Okay, share that. And that way y'all can see me. Hi, I'm Kat Adams. I work for ITAC, the Information Technology Assistance Center. Specifically, I work in the Network Operations Center and am a part of the email abuse team. We do a lot of things regarding phishing scams and other email abuse issues. Today, though, is phishing, not just for days at the lake. I always like starting off with something fun, so I like finding comics. This person says, I think this online quiz might be a phishing attempt. What's the quiz called? What your internet usernames, passwords, and social security numbers reveal about your personality. Scammers try very hard to get personal information. A phishing scam, by loose definition, is any type of email-based social engineering attack, particularly when people are looking for like usernames, passwords, social security number, anything that could be useful to them to compromise your identity. Emails are one of their favorite ways because it's very easy and very fast to get a lot of people all at once. One of we have three top kind of phishing offenders here at the university. A URL phishing scam where an email comes in and asks you to click here to verify your email address. And it directs you to a web page where it would have fields for you to fill out with all your personal information that they wanted. Another one would be a reply to phishing scam where they ask you to reply to the email that they sent you with the list of information that they were wanting. And finally, something that isn't quite as common but is starting to get a little bit more common here is attachment phishing scams where it asks you to download an attachment. Usually it's something that's trying to disguise itself as a banking statement or other type of statement. And when you download it to your computer, the file then has the ability to encrypt the information on your computer, particularly files, and then hold them ransom until you pay the scammer to unlock them for you. So those are the three that we will be going over today. So first and foremost is our URL phishing scam. They are the most prolific here at the university. This Michael Wilbert is somebody from somewhere, I don't remember exactly, but he had the common sense to email me directly, so I got to use him for this presentation. He says, click on the administrator link below to validate your email account, or your account will be temporarily blocked for sending more messages. Click link below. So one of the first things to kind of key you off that this is a phishing scam is it comes from a personal email address, Michael Wilbert. It doesn't come from like help desk at Kansas State University, although sometimes the scammers will copy that into their sender so that way it's not as clear. But straight away, it's a personal email. Second thing is grammar. So temporary block, we don't say that often in the English language. It would be temporarily block if the grammar was correct. And then finally, the link is not a K-State branded link, nor is it a secure link. So there's the 4 letters at the front of it is HTTP. Most of the K-State websites are HTTPS. It's a secure site that has a certificate and has credentials. HTTP doesn't have to have the security or the credentials, and is not as secure. So another tip that's not a K-State page. So for the purpose of this presentation, I clicked on the link and it brought me to this online mail security desk. This is not K-State branded at all. The only branding on this slide even is just from the slide formatting itself. It's asking for a variety of information: your name, email address, password, date of birth, and country. Questions like date of birth and country can be potentially used to for other accounts if they try that email address with something like Facebook or a common banking institution. And if one of the password security things is to type in your date of birth, then they have that piece of information if you had provided it in this form. So, being the person I am, I fill it out. We have a honeypot account here at K-State. His name is Fred. If his credentials, his EID of Janther is used in a phishing scam, it's used by the scammer. We can track the IP address of that person and see if that IP address compromised any of our other accounts. That isn't our department specifically. That's more of a the security group here at the university handles more of that. But anyhow, with this form, you can see that they didn't hide the password. Most institutions will do circles or some asterisks to gray out the password area so that way somebody who looks over your shoulder can't read them. Notice as well that I didn't type the password in the same in both spots. I left off the exclamation point, put in a bogus date of birth and a country. Then I click send, and it says success. My form was sent. And so it took the credentials, even though I didn't type in the password correctly. A lot of these scammers are looking for fast and quick, and so they don't put a lot of effort into coding these web pages because likely someone like us will contact their website host to take down their page. A reply to phishing scam looks a lot like this. Usually it's some sort of form. Failure to provide details of your webmail account confirmation within 48 hours will lead to disabling of your webmail account. Reply tos often have some sort of timestamp on them because they can only get the information from the email address that they're having you reply to for so long before the email address host takes that email address down. So they're trying to get that information as quickly as possible so that way they can get as much as they can. Very common fields are your name, username, password, confirm password. They'll even go as far as asking like social security number, address, who you bank with. Sometimes we had one where it asked for the make and model of the car that you first drove. Things that they could take and use as a security question answers in other places, particularly banking institutions or tax things. So there's that. So that's a reply to scam. And here's an example of an attached file scam. Again, we don't get as many of these as we do the other two, but this is from a Christian Howard saying, greetings, please find attached document you requested. The attached file is your account balance and transactions history. Notice that the account that the file says is something kind of vague, isn't very specific at all. Oftentimes those types of things will be a bunch of random characters and numbers, and it's also a zipped file. So when you download the file and unzip it, it allows the files to be completely downloaded to the computer, and if they have macros, they can start doing their nasty things. And it's from Howard Christian at willcareinfo.com. They'll try to make it something that looks useful. Oftentimes, though, they'll say that you requested it, but you didn't request a form. And if you don't if you ever have any type of suspicion that this attachment is not something that you asked for, um, always please feel free to send it in to our abuse team at abuse@ksu.edu. We'd rather look at the attachments for you and identify them and not have your computer encrypted and lock down your files and getting them compromised. But again, we don't get nearly as many of these as we get of the other two scams. So what to do as a person who might get one of these, we highly recommend to do not click on the URL or attachment or to reply to phishing scams. We would like you to get the email headers, which I'll go over here just next. This information on where the email came from, and then forward the original email that you got, any attachments that were attached to it, and the headers to abuse@ksu.edu. That's where our team can look at the emails and start digging into things. This is an example of email headers. It's a bunch of random text, but here that I've highlighted in red, these are mailbox. These are mail servers, and we can use that and the IP addresses right there to identify who owns and maintains those mail servers. And then once we understand that, we can then go and contact that mail server host and say, hey, you have an email address from this mail server that is sending out phishing scams and trying to compromise accounts, and then they can go through their process to look into the account and take it down. So that's why email headers are so important, so that way we can stop those email addresses from spamming or from receiving phishing scams. How to get headers, we find that to be very important for people to be able to know. We have a website provided by the wonderful K-State Security Department that's displayed here on my presentation, that goes over how to get headers from the major email clients that we use at K-State, anywhere from webmail to Outlook to MacMail and things like that. I'm going to go over webmail because anybody who goes to K-State or works for K-State can access it without having to have any type of software on their computer. So for webmail, first you'll need to locate the scam email in your inbox, and then you can right-click on it. When you right-click on it, it'll bring up this menu that says View, and one of the options in the menu towards the bottom is View Message Details. A new window will pop up, and then you can click anywhere in the main body of that window, which looks like this, and either Control A for Windows computer or Command A, and select it all, and then Control C or Command C and copy it, so that way you have that to be able to paste it. I am going to show you in my own email. So this is just a K-State Today. It's not a scam email, but you can still get headers from it. So I selected the email, and then I right-clicked on it. There's this lovely drop-down menu. View Message Details is towards the bottom. It pulls open that box, and I can copy that paste. Then I can close this box, and then to send it on to us, I would forward it to abuse@ksu.edu, and then I would paste the headers in. It's a bunch of text, and I still have the original email, and then I can send. Now, is the K-State Today is not a fraudulent email, so I'm just going to discard this message. But that is how you would go about doing that specifically. And we'll go back to this. So to lighten the mood a little bit, here's another comic. Email account setup. To verify your identity, we need to ask you a question no one else can answer. Question: where are the bodies buried? Guy starts to answer, ha, nice try. So we're trying to just, increase users' awareness about phishing scams and to not have them give out their personal information. Again, just you can always forward any suspicious looking email to abuse@ksu.edu. Sorry. And we'd be more than happy to look at it. We'd rather people be overcautious than undercautious when it comes to giving out their credentials to third parties. So what we do for a URL phishing scam, we can block people from accessing that website at the border. We have a border firewall that we can put websites on, and it allows us to, if they click on the link, it will give the person a web page saying, hey, where you're trying to go to isn't safe, it's K-State branded, looks really sharp, saying, hey, you can't go there. We can also submit that URL to Trend Micro, which is our antivirus provider here at the university, and they can look into it and see that it is a phishing site, and then block it so that way anyone with Trend Micro running on their computer will not be able to access that site. We will also email the origin ISP, that's Internet Service Provider, so the email host of the email address that sent out that scam, as well as the website host or web host of the website that was asking for people's credentials. For a reply to scam, again, we'll email the origin ISP, the email address where it came from, get those people to look into that account, and then as well as the reply to address in that service provider, so that way they can be like, close down that account, so that way even if people continue to reply to that scam, those scammers cannot get that information. We can also put the reply to email address on an anti-phishing email reply list. It's used by educational institutions to monitor what scams, what email addresses have been used in a reply to type phishing scam, and they can use that list to determine whether or not they're going to block users from sending an email to those people or not. There's also, for the attachment scam, we can submit the file to Trend Micro for analysis, and they can determine whether or not that file truly is malicious. And once they determine that, if it is malicious, they can block it, so that way no one who's running Trend Micro on their computer can access those files. And we can also email the origin ISP. We do have a scams blog to make people aware of the scams that we have taken down here at K-State. It's blogs.kstate.edu/scams. We update it as soon as we finish processing any phishing scam that we have received to the university, and can be used by people to see what we've done and whether or not they need to send a phishing scam or suspicious email in to the abuse team. So if a user becomes compromised, the imposter can access the email, online class system, survey system if they have access to that, the class enrollment system, and human resources. So they can get into a lot of things. Particularly scammers will go after email first, because they'll try to send out more emails to get more people to go to their site and get their accounts compromised, so that way they can have more information to play with. And Microsoft will let us know when an account is spamming like that, and we'll lock them down from sending outbound email, and notify us when they do that, so that way we know that there's a compromised account. But they can get into some pretty serious stuff. If it's a locky or file attachment scam, it can encrypt files on your computer and even work drives in some cases. So being particularly cautious with that is very important. So some news, spear phishing attack exposes tax information of 3,000 community college employees. This has been reported by Trend Micro, which again is our antivirus software provider. Being just very cautious with what you click on and what information you give out is very important, because it could affect people more than just yourself. Another one is Denver Public Schools employees have direct deposit paychecks stolen in a phishing scam. They stole more than $26,000 in paychecks by compromising 6 to 8 different employees' credentials and changing their direct deposit. So as part of our awareness, we also make sure that users who have their accounts compromised check all their personal information, so that way nothing has been changed, because that can be very detrimental to them. So the scammer has our users' information. Now what? First, we identify the compromised account. Oftentimes, Microsoft will beat us to the punch with that and let us know and lock them down from sending out email. We then go and confirm that the account is indeed compromised and spamming. We change and lock their password, so that way neither the user nor the scammer can go back and change the password without talking to us first. This allows us the opportunity to contact the user and let them know that, hey, their account was compromised. This is how you were compromised. Microsoft will sometimes tell us how their account was compromised, not always. Usually it is by a phishing scam, though. And we'll tell them how to prevent their account information from being compromised in the future, and check their personal information and email forwarding as well before unlocking their account and resetting the password and making them change their password right away. User education is part of that, telling users how to be aware of the scams. We also have lately an IT awareness survey that full-time staff here at the university are being required to take this year. It's a lot of information about how to keep your information safe and how to recognize fraud, and it's just being proactive about users protecting knowledge and protecting their information. We also have email replies that we send out to users who report emails to abuse@ksu.edu, saying, hey, thank you for letting us know. If they don't have headers, we'll send them a little blurb about how to get headers in for the next time that they send us an email, so that way if they're the first person who reports it, we get that information in a timely fashion, so that way we can take the scam down as quickly as possible. So final comic, I have a new hobby. It's called phishing. I send fake banking emails to gullible executives. Then I find out their financial information and use it to steal the money they don't deserve. Dear customer, this is your bank. We forgot your social security number and password. Why don't you send them to us so we can protect your money? Sincerely, IB Banker. Looks legit? I don't think so. At that point, do you have any questions?
Thank you, Kat. That was a really good presentation. So at this time, if you do want to unmute your microphone and ask a question or just send it in over the chat, that would be fine. Maybe while everyone is thinking, Kat, just to get things started, one question that I thought about was, how often do you guys get abuse emails, or how often do you see scams coming through? Is it like a ton on a daily basis, or maybe once a week?
It will get probably a good 4 or 5 different types of scam in a week, depending on how prolific the person was with sending out the emails. We'll either get only a couple of responses, or we'll get a whole slew if they sent it out to a good chunk of the university. So we might get, like for example, we got about 20 emails for the same scam yesterday, but it was all one scam.
Right.
So that kind of varies, but I would say on average we probably get 4 to 8 distinct scams a week. On average, there's more and less depending on the time of the year. Particularly the beginning of the semester, especially in the fall, is our highest volume as people are coming onto campus and learning how to use their email and things like that.
So sounds like you guys have your work cut out for you. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, we do have one. Where are the scams coming from?
A variety of different places. A lot of them are from email accounts overseas. That seems to be fairly common, as well as websites that are hosted overseas are a lot of the URL phishing scams and things. There are some where other universities' email addresses have been compromised, and they send out scam emails, but a significant chunk of them are usually from overseas.
Okay. Another question that came in, how does K-State handle a locky situation?
That I don't have a lot of information on. The security team, security at ksu.edu would have probably more information about that. We don't get them terribly often at all, but I thought for this presentation it would be worth addressing.
Definitely. Are there any other questions out there? Okay, Kat, I'm going to have you go ahead and stop your screen share.
All right.
And then maybe while I go over this next part, if anybody does have any questions, please continue to send those in. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. Okay. Like every week, I want to let everyone know that this presentation was being recorded. So if you need to refer back to it, or anyone who missed today who you want to share this information with, it will be found on our Tech Tips Live website, which is k-state.edu/its/tech-tips-live. I'm getting better at saying that every single week. And it'll just find whatever topic that they wanted to look at, and then use the drop down next to it, and then the video will be posted right there. We will get today's video posted as soon as we can. So this was our 15th week of Tech Tips, which was kind of the number that we were shooting for at the beginning of this journey. I think all 15 of our sessions have been very informative. I'd like to thank Kathy Rodriguez and Sarah Silva for helping get all those presentations organized and scheduling all of our presenters. They've also done a wonderful job of keeping our website up to date and getting all those videos posted on there. So once again, I want to thank them for all their help. As far as things to talk about for the summer, we are in the planning stages for trying to get together some more tech tips during the summer, but we just don't have those dates or topics planned out totally right now. So if you just want to check back on this website for more information for things coming in the future. I'm sure we'll be sending out articles in K-State Today, and on the blog we'll have information once we get all that finalized. Trying to think if I am forgetting anything. I'm going to go ahead and ask Kathy Rodriguez, do you have anything else to add regarding those? Oh, one thing. Okay, I remember now. If you have any suggestions or recommendations of things that we have not covered in these 15 weeks that you would still like to learn more about, please go ahead and send those suggestions to Kathy. So Kathy, unless you have anything else.
I know, and I think you covered it.
Okay, good deal, thanks. So I will go ahead and say that's it for today. I hope everyone has a great week and a great start to their summer. And like I said before, if there are any recommendations or suggestions for future topics, please go ahead and send those into Kathy. So have a good day. Thanks.